Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 35 male, have had a girlfriend for 6 months. She came from a big family, parents and 3 younger brothers, and they were struggling financially due to her father's gambling addiction, which eventually caused them to lose their home. I was living alone with my sister in my house then, so my girlfriend moved in with us, and I offered her family one of my rental properties where they could stay in the meantime. It was just a walking distance from my house, so every time I would go to work, they would visit there to hang out with my girlfriend, which was totally fine by me. I welcomed them into my house whenever they wanted, ate whatever they liked, and did anything they pleased. However, on the weeks I've noticed they were in my place almost every day. Even if I took a day off from work, they would still come here and act like they owned the house, which I found disrespectful. They would boss my girlfriend and even my sister around to serve them food and drinks while they watched TV all day or played video games. I told my girlfriend this needed to stop because my sister found it already uncomfortable to walk around the house, so she would just stay in her room most of the time. Yesterday, I went home earlier than usual. I noticed that my sister hadn't come out of her room since I arrived, so I went to check on her. She seemed upset, so I asked her the reason why. She then told me that my girlfriend's mom and younger brothers told her that she didn't belong there, in my house, and that I was planning to send her back to the orphanage where she came from as a baby, so my girlfriend and I could start a family together without her, which was all a lie. My sister knew she was adopted, but me or my parents never treated her differently. She was the only family I had after our parents passed away, and I would never do that to her. I immediately confronted my girlfriend about it, and it turned out she was there all the while her family was spewing that vile stuff, but she did nothing to stop them. I asked her to tell her mother and her younger brothers to apologize to my sister right away. I gave them half an hour, but none of them apologized to my sister. Instead, they tried to blame shift, so I went to them and told them they could no longer stay in my house or on my property. I didn't have to explain why because they already knew the reason themselves. They were shocked about what I said, but there was no sign of remorse on their faces. Instead, they got so defensive about what they did and tried to manipulate me, saying that what they said needed to be said. That I should be the one to come to my senses because having my sister would only ruin my girlfriend and our family's future, calling my sister spoiled and attention seeker. I was so done with their nonsense, so I straight up told them to leave my house or I'm calling the cops. They started cussing me out for going back on my word and making them and their children homeless. Mind you, they had some really colorful choice words, even the children. Why would I ever choose to be with someone who didn't care about my sister, who's the only family I have? Am I the a-hole for kicking my girlfriend and a family out of my house? Update. It's been a week since and my ex-girlfriend has been begging me to take her back and apologized for everything. But it was already long overdue. I don't have any idea where they are staying right now, not that I care. I'm glad the serpents outed themselves before I was tied down to them legally. Best of luck, everybody. You're not the a-hole OP. Your sister is your family, the only family you have, and your ex and her family were just visitors. Strangers that you were being extremely good to because you wanted to help and yet they didn't feel indebted to you. Instead, they grew comfortable and entitled. They had no right to tell your sister those words regardless of their relationship with your ex. Just because you want to create a new family doesn't mean you have to get rid of your sister as they think. All they had to do was apologize, but they didn't. So them being homeless isn't on you, it's on them. Story 2. I, 34 male, have been married to my wife, 44 female, for a year now. I mentioned that my friend group wanted to get together for St. Patrick's Day weekend. We have gotten together since 2007 for St. Patrick's Day, with the exception of last year and maybe 2016. My wife got upset and said that she didn't want me to go because this is her third favorite holiday. I tried to explain that since we started dating in 2018, I had only seen them once a year, whereas before I would see them 3 or 4 times a year. They live in the West, Midwest, and I'm on the East Coast. So it's not like I can just jump in the car and see them. They have also been very good friends through my adult life, and I really miss spending time with them. I said that the plans aren't set in stone yet, so we'll see if I go, and she said she'd be okay if I were to go this time, But if this turns into a yearly St. Patrick's thing, then it's a no-go. I was offended by this and said so. She then went on to say that my friends don't have kids, so they don't know what it's like. She has a son, 9, from a previous marriage that lives with us full-time. I've taken on a big role and get him from the bus stop, making sure he does his homework before she gets home, cooking dinner for everyone and cleaning. I've even changed my work schedule to accommodate this. I'm not a morning person, but I'm up at 5 a.m. so I can get to work 6 a.m. and be out by 2:30 to get him from the bus. Before this, I was getting to work at 9. Can I just have a weekend off? Am I the a-hole for wanting a weekend away with my friends? Not the a-hole, OP. I think it's great that you've maintained friendship this long despite not seeing them as often. Your wife should be supporting your effort to see them for only a weekend. Saying it's her third favorite holiday is a bad excuse to not get you to go. Also, if she can't take care of her son for a weekend, then you have been putting in a lot of effort to take responsibility for him. You deserve a trip, OP. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. What exactly does your wife expect to do on her third favorite holiday that she won't be able to do if you are gone? And if the answer is she won't be able to get as drunk because when she gets home she will have a child to tend to, that is, you are normally more sober to do the bulk of the adulting, then that's bullshit. I can see asking the friend group if the weekend to get together can change around a bit, only on St. Pat's Day every third year or so that you aren't gone every single year on that holiday. I mean, third favorite holidays deserve respect too. They would even get a medal at the Olympics. Not the a-hole. Third favorite holiday is a BS excuse. Having kids has no relevance to taking a weekend away with your friends. I'm a parent and take at least a weekend or 2 off because I have standing plans with friends out of town or state. Your spouse is trying to control you and act like your parent and not your partner. By the sound of things, you're doing the lion's share of parenting when the kid isn't your own. Not to say being a step-parent is not a real parent, just that OP seems to be doing more to care for the kid than her spouse. I think OP and their spouse needs to start meeting with a marriage therapist or this relationship will become toxic. Third favorite holiday. She doesn't want you to go because it's her third favorite holiday. Okay, first of all, that's immature and something a child would say. Second, I loathe anyone who says they don't have children so they don't know what it's like. We do know what it's like. That's why we choose not to have children. Having children was her choice. No one forced that upon her. She's lucky she found someone who's willing to take on the role of father and keep up the house as well. Not many guys want to do that. She's being too selfish. You're well within bounds to spend a weekend away with friends. Story 3. I have a friend who's going through some difficult stuff. I've known him since 2016, and they've had financial issues the entire time. They constantly ask for me to share their fundraisers, and I personally don't want to share them anymore because my only personal friends keep asking why I keep sharing different fundraisers for the same person, and it's been probably close to 30 fundraisers or so. GoFundMe's since 2016, and multiple at the same time, like they'll have one that's not getting any traction, so they'll make a new one. We had a falling out in January 2019, and we didn't speak for close to a year and a half until very recently, and I immediately noticed that in a year and a half, nothing changed for them. They're still asking for, in my opinion, handouts. It's just frustrating for me, and I don't really know what to say, so I'm just ignoring the question of them asking me to share. They put me in a freaking difficult spot by private messaging me on Facebook to ask me to share their fundraiser, and I just don't want to. ETA, this person also tagged me in a post about another fundraiser about a month ago. I don't think that I should help them to skirt their issues, which is they need to get their finances under control. They have, I think it's 4 pets, and they're always asking for money to pay for their pets, or now they're asking for help with just day-to-day things until they get SSI. Well, they've been trying to get SSI since 2016 and still haven't. It's just really, shady. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for not sharing this person's fundraiser? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. No one is entitled to you posting things on social media for them. Just tell them you don't want to post it. It's that simple and easy. And if they ask why, tell them everything you wrote on here and advise them if they'll listen. Not the a-hole. If they want to do online panhandling, that's their business. They should do it on their own. You are under no obligation to perpetuate it on their behalf. especially as it's as frequent as you say it is. They are beggars using new tech. Be direct and tell them you can't share their links anymore. Not the a-hole. I can understand why you feel the way you do after 4 years. Everyone can be hit by hard times and need help, and sometimes it can take a long while to get through a difficult financial situation. It sounds like your friend could really use a financial counselor to help them out more than a GoFundMe page. There are a lot of resources for low-income people to reach out to. It just takes a bit of legwork to get the ball rolling. I hope your friend is able to overcome their financial instability and get on track.